It's okay if you're a Muslim, a Christian, or a Jew.
It's okay if you're agnostic and you don't know what to do.
An all-inclusive celebration.
No contractual obligation.
Happy Chrismahanukwanzakah to you.
And pagans too.
Welcome to Simply Robotics, the podcast, a podcast exploring the animation industry one episode at a time. I'm your host, Monique. You can find me on all social media platforms at Simply Robotics, SIMPLYROBOTIX. When listening to the show, use the hashtag Simply Robotics Pod to join in the conversation. Welcome back for day 2 of 12 days of Chrismahanukwanzakah. If you're still new here, if you didn't listen to the first episode yet or whatever, and just jumping on the first episode that you see, what I am doing is for 12 days consistently for this month of December, I am podcasting daily, 12 days of and talking about holiday animated Christmas movies, TV shows, episodes, what have you. You're going to see that maybe you feel like something should have made the list, but they didn't. But the good thing about podcasting is I just couldn't do all the good stuff immediately. You never know what can be next. Maybe something that you really want me to talk about, I'll end up covering this week. Who knows? So today I'm going to be talking about Angela's Christmas. Now, you may or may not, I'm going to lean more so with may not, have heard of this or know anything about this. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I also think I could be wrong, but a couple years ago, Macy's had this write a note to Santa thing. And I feel like that had something to do with Angela's Christmas. Angela's Christmas came out in, I saw some conflicting dates. They say 2017, 2018. So it's quite possible it probably came out on the cusp of that. It was directed by Damien O'Connor. So again, you don't know that I'm doing this. So since you more than likely have never heard of Angela's Christmas, just pause this episode real quick, go to the episode notes, watch the trailer, come back and listen to the rest of the episode. So I had to go and do my Googles while you were watching the trailer. And I thought, like I said, that Angela's Christmas was in conjunction with this Macy's thing, writing a note to Santa. However, I was wrong. It was some Virginia. Yes, Virginia. Something like that. So the point is, it was not Angela. I'll actually post a link to the Macy's thing that I'm talking about later, because the characters actually kind of look similar, and the campaign, it looks like, was around 2016-17. This thing came out 2017-18, so I understand my confusion. Anywho, let's get into Angela's Christmas. It was set in Ireland in the 1910s. It's described as a funny, heartwarming, and poignant story about the power of family and the innocent desire of a child to ensure everyone's safe, warm, and loved at Christmas time. I have never seen this before, so my first impression is that it looks like a typical European animation that tries to emulate the Pixar style. So I know we're all familiar with how Pixar look. You can think of Toy Story, you can think of The Incredibles, Inside Out, Moana, no, Tangled. Oh, Tangled is Disney. So is Frozen. But anywho, that whole style, that whole look. So enough of European, meaning English and Irish and French animation, they kind of teeter-totter the line of trying to have 3D films that look like American films, and it's just always off. I always say this, you just can't beat Pixar and Disney at what they do. And the best thing that you could do is just create and define your own style and just be so damn good at that, and stop trying to be better you're always going to be steps behind, you know what I'm saying? So just do your own thing and be successful in your lane. I do not think this will hold up. It's very weighted on the religious tone. I feel like I can totally see this being very dismissed in America, despite America having also its own religious Christianity, intensity, if you will. I don't feel like Americans would really, they haven't, because you guys don't even know about it. I don't feel like Americans would really, what I was trying to say is just embrace this and be like, oh my gosh, you have to see this. I'm showing you, even if you're super Christian, I don't see anybody showing this to their kids, because it's just kind of boring. And I don't like seeing that about stuff. But this is the point of the podcast. It's we're talking about this. This film is 30 minutes, so it's very short. And it still felt like it was going on for too long, even with it only being 30 minutes. I totally understand with how definitely the Irish and other European countries would appreciate the religious aspect of Christmas, because so many times, often, it's about Santa Claus and the mythical part of Christmas, not really the Jesus part. So, it's a cute story, but that doesn't actually take away from it just being boring. Cast some characters. Angela, she's a cute 6-year-old girl. She has some brothers, 3 brothers. They are typical, white CG characters. They're just not memorable. Angela is slightly memorable, but again, she's obviously easy to confuse with other established characters. There's also Mom. She is probably the most boring character visually, just in, I don't know, there's no depth to any of these characters. The only character that has a little bit of depth is Angela, and that's because she's the main character. But as far as everybody else, you're like, okay. And it is very, very predictable. Yeah, so the visual style, it's not impressive. It's not memorable. Since it takes place in the night, everything is pretty dark, which sucked, though it did deliver on the mood that they were trying to convey. But I was just like, I get it. 1910s as a lot of like metal and industrial stuff, so it's like I get it that it's like a cold atmosphere to be in, and not only cold just like literally, but like just there's nothing really warm about Europe at that time, but I felt like still they could have just added an element of like magic to it, not going full on mythology, because again they are leaning heavily on the religious part of Christmas, but it just still felt like ugh. So as far as animation style, it's CG animated. It does hold up to an industry standard. There's a scene where like Angela is being sneaky and like crawling on the ground, and I thought that bit of animation was actually really, really good. Like that's so weird. Like out of the whole film, I'm like, yeah, Angela crawling on the ground, that's my favorite part of it. But I think so. I think so. The style, if you guys have seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, that's the first thing that comes to my mind, with a 3D animated entity that has a lot of like fluidity to the movements, and like they don't feel so robotic or stagnant. Like this movie was nothing like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. This it did feel very like robotic type of thing to it. So that was a little, and I get it because it's also like humans, and like again I said they're sticking to like a more realistic approach. So you can't be like that whimsical with your movements and stuff like that. But then I'm like, this is still animated, and I feel like you guys are just restricting yourself so much that it's taking away some of the fun that can be had with this moment. Overall, the storytelling was very simple. It was a very, very even paced short film. So what I mean by that is that it is very predictable. Like you're like, okay, this is happening, she does this, well then there's a consequence, and then there's that, and then you have to make everything right again, and then the movie's over. And they didn't even kind of build up like any sort of anticipation, and there's like no climax. I can't believe I had to like force myself to watch a 30-minute thing. Like it's 30 minutes. I shouldn't have to force myself to do that, but I did. So final thoughts, it is kind of boring. I would not watch this again. I don't even recommend it. I am sorry. I can't. Why would I recommend this to you? If you want to see it, though, it's on Netflix. Again, it's 30 minutes. It's a very quick and easy thing to watch. You know what? Watch the trailer if you haven't yet. Cause I told you should have watched in the beginning. But if you haven't, watch the trailer now that you've listened to all I had to say. And then come back and tell me if you are interested in actually watching the episode. You can leave me a comment on this post on Instagram or Facebook. Or you can tweet me using the hashtag SimplyRoboticsPod. And just like kind of let me know if off the trailer and I wouldn't steer you wrong, but if you would still be interested in watching this. And if you have kids, like, would you watch this with your kids? I would like to know, but I don't recommend it. Rating system. Ooh. I would give this movie 1 present. I feel very bad about that, but there's also my feelings, and this is my show. I would give I'm so sorry, Angela's Christmas. I give you 1 present. And I'm also sorry to my listeners. I really wanted this episode to be 15 minutes, but who knows, maybe with the intro and the outro music and stuff like that, it will be 15 minutes, but I don't think so. That's that. This was day 2 of 12 days of Chrismahanukwanzakah. I'm so excited. Again, you can find me on all social media platforms at Simply Robotics, my website, simplyrobotics.com. If you're listening through the podcast app on your iPhone. Just go on over to the show and give it 5 stars. Can't tell you what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, but I'm very excited. And thank you for resharing my episodes and tuning in and, engaging with me. I'm still having a good time doing this, and I'm really excited. So, bye. Until next time.
Happy Christmas.